We're doing this thing Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. We coming to you live. And we talking to you. And we're gonna come to you live. We got just a we're gonna get stuff straight. Give me just a moment to get everything all geared up. Put this thing all in gear. Get this thing all geared up. See, working with. We are live. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. We are live. Okay, we're gonna do this for you. All right, we are live right now. We are live. Anyway, coming to you. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having a good days on this Sunday. We are live. And yeah, I'm posting the question, is Black history scary to the powers that be? And if you agree, say yes. If you disagree, say no. What's up? What's happening? Oh, it's all good. Just chilling. Just chilling. We ain't gonna talk about that lame all-star situation. I told you. Who watches that garbage? Damian Lillard getting a 3-point. Like, I ain't even, you know what? Forgive me. I almost forgot he was still in the league. That's how bad. Now, Portland actually is doing, as far as being a under 500 team, they kind of interesting, which tells me in English that if they were to have like a yard sale, they got some pieces there that if you put them on a legit team, because Portland is okay. They got a little something, but I didn't even pay him no mind. That's how far he didn't fall off my Richter scale. Damian Lillard then entered the Carmelo James Harden sweepstakes of guys who are so stat padded with stats. I'm not even paying him no mind no more. So, okay, so somebody's trying to say that Black History Month ain't scary. Okay, we're gonna find out. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. When people come up with their quotes, come on in here. Let me know where you stand, where you are. Yes, it is live. It is Sunday. Hello, how you doing? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's something that Scooby Doo can't even figure out. Like, how he get into the slam dunk a 3-point contest, And the cat, I can't recall him playing. I'm dumb. I am really stumped. I saw Dane one. I go, oh, man, did I miss something? Was it because he didn't fell off the map so bad? I almost forgot he's even in the league. That says a lot about him. And actually, Portland ain't that bad considering that their coach is in lockdown right about now. Yeah, because Chauncey Billups' situation. I forgot all about Dame. I clearly forgot about Dame. I've been so busy blown away by Chauncey Billups. I forgot all about Dame. They're not that bad. They're not a good team, but they're not bad. Like they one of those kind of teams. They're gonna be a problem. They got a few guys on there that can play. It's just that they need another couple pieces. But their problem, they're not gonna be the stank. They're not the stank, but they are learning to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Maybe that's what that tournament in season tournament trophy allowed him. What's up? Good to see you. Cause I don't even know. I was kind of surprised he was out there. I was like, dang. I was like Scooby. I was like, dang. So I don't know. What's going on, Charlene? Good to have you on. Everybody that's on, feel free to talk. We are live and in color. Yeah, you think because the dunk contest had cast that combined, I don't think there was averaging 10 points a game. That's how sad it was. The cast that all participate, I don't think combined averaged 10. They should have had Bronny James in the contest. It's really sad. It's really sad. Star power is below. Nobody wants any parts of that mess, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. All Star Weekend should be scrapped. Just put that on Tubi. Yeah, we ain't miss much. But Cat that won for Miami, he's in there trying to flex. And I'm like, yo, y'all got nothing to flex with you. It sucks. And I'm a Heat fan, and their averages can be. They don't play no defense, so it's pretty bad. Jason Richardson's son was in it. He plays for, and I didn't even know. He ain't his daddy though. He got some spring, but he ain't his daddy though. He ain't his dad. He ain't seeing Larry Nance Jr. Just saying. So that's pretty bad. All right. 50-50. Okay. I imagine that this poll will go half and half. He gonna set the tone for the game. I like how he play. But nobody cares though. Nobody cares. He's not gonna come along and be all magically delicious. It's to set the tone for the game. People gotta care. I just don't think these turkeys care. No, I know they don't care. Uh, Brutal. Cause if you didn't watch it, Drake Main just looked like out of sorts. He just looked like he just didn't belong. You didn't miss nothing. Bad Bunny had more movement than Drake Main. They was shut out to the fourth quarter. And he threw up a couple of haymakers. His stats at the end got Nick wrong up there making like they suck. They had no business on the field. Mike Vrabel got out. Their defense did pretty good. Cause I'm gonna tell you, there was a couple passes that dude that a secondary for New England doesn't deflect could have been a problem. Sam Donald got hurt a couple times. It could have been even uglier than it was. I count, if I'm being honest, if a couple of them things land, that's a 40 burger. They did. They did. They ran okay, but Seattle was a different level, man. Seattle, and the scary part about Seattle, unlike 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when they had Sherman and and those cats and Earl Thomas and all them and all that, and Michael Bennett and Kirkland, Kirkland, all that. They have no names on there. They play as a unit. They have a no name. That's the scary part. Yeah, I felt that way too because I felt those are the two best teams. I thought the NFC, especially the NFC West, those three teams were the three of the best. The Rams were the most talented team I saw all year. Seahawks was the scariest, and the 49ers was the most dangerous. And there's nothing from the AFC I see coming out. And I'm sorry. They got to get Patrick Mahomes whatever he want because we cannot have anything less than a top tier quarterback in the represent the AFC. You can't have no Bo Nixon crap and no Drake Mayo crap. That's not gonna cut it. I'm sorry. You gotta have Kansas City back or Buffalo in there or Baltimore, or since Adam Joe Burrow ain't gonna have him, and I like Burrow. Burrow gonna have to go somewhere else. But you gotta have the main guys in. If you don't have the main guys in, that blowout is coming. That was too easy. That was too easy. And the 29-13 doesn't even indicate the real one-sidedness of that affair. So Patriots got that butt whipped up on them. And I think that's what's up. I just think that's beat that butt up. Yeah, sometimes the game that we used to always have it back in the day. The real Super Bowl started like a week before. Some people just didn't want to admit it. Usually, if I watch a divisional game by the second round, I can pretty much tell who's going to be the team. And I just knew that, hey, the best two teams, and I think it's going to be like that next year too. Because again, you see the NFC is clearly superior. I mean, Philadelphia spanked Kansas City, Seattle spanked New England, and one side of the fair. So okay. I saw that garbage. I'm not impressed. He stat padded the other night. And if you play long enough, he's not even playing. What he doing is just trying to show out, and they're not helping the team. I mean, it's not helping the team at all. But that's what they want. You know, I'm not impressed. You know, when Carl Malone and someone else did it, they weren't trying as hard. See, everything with him, he's always indulging. He's one of the reasons why people can't even watch that mess. No, they didn't. He did him wrong by not getting his butt out of there like 5 years ago. He should have quit after he lost that finals against Milwaukee. He's been stealing money for 5 years. They didn't do him wrong. Nope. 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 Nope, 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 nope. Because if I mention Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, um, Steve Nash, I'm naming you the bottom 10. J- uh, Steve Nash, Gary Payton. Mm, some people gonna mention Bob Cousy. Mm, I'm gonna pick on because I'm not gonna name. Yeah, MVP. No, had more impact. Had more impact. Let's get the obvious out the way. What's happening? Steph Curry, Magic, Oscar, Stockton, Kidd. He ain't seen them five. Okay, so them five is out the question. Okay. Now, Gary Payton, Steve Nash. You can make a case of. I guess he won't say Cousy. Mm, probably won't say Tiny Archibald. Let me think. Mm. Well, see, Tony Parker's not top 10. Tony Parker's more like 11, 15 slot. So I'd say Parker was more clutch, but CP3 had better stats. And then you got Mark Jackson. You can debate. CP3's in 11 to 15 slot. Mm. What's interesting with Frenchie? But anyway, CP3 messed himself up. He stayed around too long. And that's a story I'm sticking to it. Had he gone out after losing that finals and that choke job against Milwaukee, he'd been fine. He messed up. So, trying to think who else got pick on. Hmm. I don't even think that CP3 is better than Drew Holiday, if I'm honest. I feel people feel thinking about. Oh, I co-sign all the way. That's why I asked the question. That's exactly why I asked the question. You see all this Trump racist rhetoric, and no one is saying anything to him. And he's doing it in the middle of Black History Month, and that's the thing. Hmm. I agree. I agree. I co-sign everything you said. Good. When you start talking about the historical implications, people get scared. Hmm. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Tentatively, I might come back Tuesday. And then after Tuesday, probably next Friday. Or no, not Friday, probably Sunday. Issues within research again. Well, see, first of all, black people ain't racist. They're ignorant and be biased, but they're not racist because you got to control something. Candace Owens does not control anything. She makes a lot of biased remarks and some things, but she's not. You can't be. Oh, they believe all the thing that you said because they've had presidents. First of all, it's just like if you have somebody white who likes black music, they go on about how rhythmic and all that is, but when push comes to shove, they ain't trying to be hauled up with somebody. So they know. They play dumb on TV. That's the old adage. Act like you don't know. Because if they think that you come across too smart, you know. Well, I'm just saying that someone black can't be racist. Black people don't control nothing. You have to control the narrative to be racist. You can be ignorant and you can be, uh, you know, what you can't be. It's not the same. I don't need to hear no former players tell me the obvious because Stevie Wonder could look and see that dunk contest is not the same. I mean, remember 10 years ago in June, you're waiting for Cleveland Golden State. And in the slam dunk contest, you're waiting for Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. See, and a lot of it, and also, this is one of the reasons why I never had a problem with LeBron not doing it because a lot of these cats that end up doing it weren't great players, you know, and very handful have went on. It's not been the same forever. They didn't feel it. Well, first of all, Kobe's dunk contest wasn't that memorable for me. Vince Carter did the thing at such a high level that it's kind of hard to duplicate that. That was hard. They can't be racist. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. If you're racist, it's like a heart attack. Ain't no such thing as a minor or half. You have to control the narrative. They can't be on no levels because they don't control the narrative. Tell me a black person has legislated laws against you, has money on currencies, has an ability to offset. No, it's ignorance. And let me explain, as I'm trying to tell you. They can say that because they have a basis for saying it because of the history of the country, the oppression. But saying it and having a clan situation is two different things. See, black people saying that they don't like is because of of realities. When white people do it, they control the narrative. You wouldn't react the same if Obama made fun of Trump as you do for what Trump did to the Obamas. And all I'm saying is black people don't get to control that narrative. You know, when you saw the monkey routine, you knew what that was about. What can black people do to white folks that you go, oh, that like that. Besides saying some stuff that comes up that's ignorant, but what can they do? Hmm? Hmm? What laws? That's not racist. That's a choice, and that's ignorant. Fuck, because that's not racist. He been taught that by the system. So you dive into something that let me address this. Let me bring this in real quick. Let me get back on camera for this one. I'm gonna address this one. We all have a white if you're from America. And we all been related. No one is 100% anything in the United States if you understand that. Ancestry is everywhere. Now, having said all that, if he chooses, some of that is because of what he was taught as a child. Let me tell you a story. I grew up with certain people in family who said, "Don't bring home an ugly baby and make it look." They as imagery. So that is a reality. That is self-taught from a child. That's not racist. That's an ignorance that's been taught, and that's been done. Well, the WNBA is more to watch than the NBA. No different than the white forefathers who were black kids. If your last name is Jefferson, I'm just saying, Washington. It's not quite. It's not the same because it's control. If I can't control you, I can't have nothing to. I can't legislate. But it's not the same. The doctrine has to be controlled. Black man including a white woman because he wants to have a baby look a certain way is not the same as a white man forcing himself in plantations. That's the part I'm trying to tell you in English. It's not the same. There is a big difference. The WNBA has a lot more to offer and it's more entertaining to watch, and I like it. The problem with the WNBA though is that it doesn't come across balanced. It's not a lower. There's no level because you have to control the narrative, which is the cash and the cake. There is no narrative. So you see a low level drug dealer on the streets, right, in New York, right? Who do you think his boss is? He doesn't control those streets. He's just put out there like a flunky. He looked like he the part. He's a good sidekick actor, but he ain't got no. He don't own those streets. They can take him out anytime they want. But who's behind the machine? Think about hip hop. You saw Diddy in the window, right? Who's behind Diddy? Clive Davis. Who's behind that? You see where I'm going with this? You want to say low level? There's no level because that man has to depend on that man to depend on that man. But that level is chump change. All it does is pimp black folk. So what it does is just create the ignorance of the hustle. But it has no level. You get what they give you. So you have no level. Now you could be like Clarence Avant, but they end up taking him out. There is no level. You make what they give you. That's not level. That's the hood. That's the bottom of the. That's enough to get on the keep yourself on the plantation, but you're not really in the mix. So that's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, we just got to disagree on it because I I'm setting my ways about you setting your ways about it, and it's all good. But when I look at sports, for instance, the players bring in the money and all that, but they have no say. So where's the level? You're not a GM. You're not an owner. You have no say. You bring in. When I hear about LeBron worth billions, Steph Curry, and all that, but where's their ownership? Where's the payoff? And your level is seen as less than. So again, for me, it's got to be a balance. It's got to be something where I go, okay. But if for it to be low level, you have to have a say. You has no say. And my thing is, you got to have a foot at the table. Like for instance, if Michael Jackson doesn't get messed with when he was a Sony board member, with that publishing all that, you know. Oh, you gonna sit here and just tell me everything? No, stop, stop. He ain't better than Stockton, so stop. He ain't better than Magic, so stop. He been stat padding so long that he got you all believing these old tired stats. His team isn't that good. They look like they alright, and then they look like they get blown out. Why he didn't play against San Antonio the other night? Explain that. How come they got smashed by OKC without Shea? Explain that. See, all that stuff that you saying, it's nice and cute for the window dressing, but he ain't doing nothing where it count. So no. And if he played like that every night, then it would make sense. He doesn't play all around game every night. Because if he was really an all around force, they could make and manipulate stuff. They can. They were able to spread the ball. They were able to find him an identity. They wouldn't do nothing in the postseason without him, though. That's the only reason. But it's not good for the Jokic people who like to brag it up. I said, look, y'all need to stop with that nonsense. Y'all know good and well he ain't on Shaq's level. He ain't on Kareem's level. He ain't on Bill Russell's level. He ain't on Will level. He ain't on that level. He still find himself. You know. But Jokic, Jokic gets his due, but it's over. It's a bit much too. Like I said, he got to win a couple more rings and a couple of more MVPs, and I say, okay, if he don't win a couple more rings, couple Finals MVPs, he's not top 4 or 5. I'm sorry, he just ain't. And he should dominate this league right now anyway. He should. It's watered down. The Nuggets don't play no defense though. Like I said, for a short term remedy, short term. Long term, I wouldn't do it if I'm Denver because they don't, you know. But we'll see. All right. Okay, we see what we got. See anybody still on here? It's gotten quiet, so okay. See if we got anybody on here. Okay. See if anybody's still on. It's got real quiet. Woody Harrelson in a blowout. Come on now. Michael Rappaport is the cutest talent. He's more known for running his mouth than his actual skills. Shh. You say Michael Rappaport, you stuck in the 90s. At least Woody she had movies, TV. Oh, yeah. Woody Harrelson in a blowout. That's not up for discussion. I ain't even the only thing Rappaport I remember is Higher Learning. He really was like that character. Okay. Okay. Did I ask the question? Who was it? Yeah, you asked me one. Jesse in a blowout. I can't stand either one of them, but Jesse in a blowout. 'Cause what has Al Sharpton really done except know how to pose? He be right hand man, and he always looks awkward. Jesse in a blowout, and I don't trust Jesse no further I could throw them, but still a blowout. So Jesse in a blowout. Mm. Let's see. Does Beyonce emulate Donna Ross of yourself? Oh well, she was the leader of a female successful girl group. She definitely was about creative control. She had a, Svengali. Not in terms of vocalization, in terms of pacing, but definitely understood who was centerpiece. It's kind of hard to not avoid Donna Ross, especially if you're a black female and you're leading a band or group. You're gonna, as far as groups go, Donna Ross was the most important. As far as bands go, Shaka Khan was the most important. But yeah, Beyonce, she definitely taken a nod to Donna Ross. Quite a few people have. She's one of the most influential artists ever. Well, yeah, the wind blowing. That's a subtle gesture, but Michael Jackson did that too. You know, just gestural. But the thing about it is, Donna Ross doesn't have to do all the theatrics that Beyonce did. She never made herself into a flying circus. So she kept more. That's what I like better. Because Beyonce stuff was kind of clownish and cornyish. Tried to do too much. So yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be on for about another 14, 15 minutes, just so you know, because I'll be on for like an hour or so. So we got time to get into some good stuff. Somebody want to talk? Feel free. Had back to back days. This first time in a long time we did back to back. One of her influences, but if I'm honest with you, once I take the girl group, the biggest influence on Beyonce is Tina Turner. That's the bigger one. But Donna Ross is one of them. I mean, you kind of can't avoid that. And Michael's an influence on her. And there's a few artists I see on her. I'd even tell you Josephine Baker if you don't understand about bananas and everything. I see a few influences on her. Tina's probably the biggest though. Tina and Michael. If you're a songstress and you're versatile, that's a nod to Aretha Franklin too. If you're trying to use your voice as a multi-layered instrument, that's a nod to Whitney. There's a few, but so yeah, yeah. That's how I look at it. It's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's how I look at it. Yeah. That's yeah. Part of the influences. Okay. Let's see if we got anybody else coming through. Hmm. Uh, there's certain glamour, especially when I look at if so her portrayal of Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues, I could tell you, yeah, the way some of the wigs, where some of the hairstylings were to highlight her face, I could see her influence. But it wasn't like so blatant, but it was there. It's an influence. You could see a little bit. You could see a nod. You couldn't be a black actress and not have and not draw a comparison. So it's there. You gotta understand something, especially with black performers. You see a lot of, the ones that stood out. You can see a lot of influence on a lot of people. It's pretty more prominent. No, mm-mm. The day and times we live in, there's nothing wrong with talking about. I think the ones that are closed minded about it got issue with it because they act like it doesn't exist. They don't really want to talk about it, but yet it's so much that goes on in display that you have to know about stuff. So, mm-mm, mm-mm. I think it's important that you teach children about every possible scenario because that's the way life is these days. You can tell when parents have checked their kids before they go out too. How they uh how they interact, things like that. Mm. Quite interesting contrast. We went from Beyonce, Diana Ross, Dorothy Dandridge to children and, you know, gay families. That's interesting. Keep showing your toes. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Shit, we got. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. I'm gonna call it a day in just a bit because I'm not seeing anybody coming through. I've been on almost an hour. I wanna, and I appreciate the comments. We had a pretty good, lively discussion at an early part, and then things kind of deteriorated. So I'll give it a couple more minutes before I clear out. So everybody wants to be part of the live stream, they know where to find me and reach out and we can talk. Mm, okay. Okay, we're in the home stretch. So, like I said, appreciate everyone that came through today, and hope that. Well, you got a couple minutes because I can't have a lot of delays. I can't. I don't. It's not good. It's got to be where people are talking, and I have to have interaction because then it just kind of takes everything down, and I have to have the interaction. I will be back probably maybe Tuesday, maybe. If I come back Tuesday, then it will be yeah. Well, again, I have to consider everything with timing. So, and it's been pretty stagnant. So I'll probably come back Tuesday though. Anyway, Stephanie Mills in the blowout. I like Mickey Howard a lot, but she ain't got the songs. She can sing and she's versatile, but Stephanie got the catalog. Stephanie got the voice. Stephanie for the W. Okay. Um, Shantae Moore, except she didn't have the songs, but the probably Shantae Moore. Not Brandy, not Monica, not Tracy Spencer. Shantae Moore. Not Shanice Wilson either. Well, you asked. And I like Shantae Moore's vocals. Shantae Moore, though, has worked with the Who's Who, but she doesn't have the catalog. She doesn't have the cuts like that. They tend to like give her so much love, and I don't know. I mean, she's good. She had some good songs here and there, but I never heard all this love affair they have with her. I still don't get it. She couldn't be Deborah Laws because Deborah Laws could stand still sing. Deborah Laws' voice had an adult vibe. Shanice was still trying to find out who she was. She could sing, but she didn't have no depth. And she couldn't be Stacey Lasso because she didn't have no catalog. Most stuff she did was pretty lightweight. Stephanie would have ran circles around that. So now, to be a Deborah Laws, you gotta kind of fall in line like Randy Crawford. You gotta, there's certain things you gotta do. Because Aaliyah had better material, she was catchier. If you ask me point blank, Aaliyah had the better material, Brandy had the better voice. And if you could combine the two, you'd have had somebody that could have gone against Britney. Vesta Williams. But Vesta came out in the late 80s, though. But, and I could say a better version would have been, oh, what's the one who sings I haven't got time for the paint? What's her name? Uh, oh, God. She used to sing with Luther Vandross, but I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, but no. I can't think of her right now. Lisa Fisher, yeah. Yeah. It's the tone and the vibe. Yep. Actually, if whatchamacallit hadn't had that ducky voice, if you listen to Miss Chalet, there you go. They just emphasized her singing because she had pipes. She could actually done, if you still cared, done a Melissa Morgan cover. She had a decent voice. There's a few, but Lisa Fisher was too polished for what they're putting out. So, she didn't have to push Dre and Easy. And see, first of all, you know, Mary did the same thing, but Mary started with Father MC back in '89 for Al B. But they put money on Mary. They ain't been putting no money on Miss Chalet. Miss Chalet got treated like a hood project for real. No more lies than Nasty. Nasty was they were some big songs. Just didn't put no push for her. JoJo. Okay. I'm gonna cut it in about 4 minutes, so yeah. I think JoJo could have done it. Val Young was in it. Well, TLC was bigger. I like the Mary Jane Girls better. I think they had better songs overall, but TLC was bigger. You know that's not even quite. You know that's what's gonna give them the edge. They were crazy successful and they were big. But I like the Mary Jane Girls overall catalog better. 'Cause I never saw Barry Gordy in a picture of Rick James when he was doing the Mary Jane Girls. I have seen it with, you know, everybody's documented TLC. Yeah, so anyway. TLC was original as far as imagery goes, but as far as the musicality, The Mary Jane girls were more because they actually did doo wop. They actually were versatile. You know, once you get past the imagery, they can actually sing harmonize. So Mary Jane girls, because they could harmonize. Vanity Six couldn't harmonize, so no. Gotta have harmony. Gotta have harmony if we're gonna do it. That's all I can say about that. I wouldn't even entertain the thought of that because he wouldn't do it, and it wouldn't be something that I would recommend for your career. Rick James didn't even do it. Prince and Vanity had like backdrop with Morris, but it wasn't like a full on duet. So that would be almost career suicide. So on that note, I'm gonna give it a roll, but I will be back probably Tuesday, definitely next Sunday. Well, it was the production and the groove, but I would never entertain a male singer singing with them because it had to be a play on words, and that wasn't Michael's imagery and status, so that wouldn't have worked. I never would have entertained that thought, and I definitely no to the Vandy Six thing. Ain't no way in the world unless it was a joke. And Prince would have to have a real wicked sense of humor to pull that off. So, but anyway, that's my thought. That's my time. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on one time. Peace.